Hi everyone, welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. And today we're going to look at the premium Soviet battleship, I'm going to say this only once, the Oktyabrskaya Revolyutsiya, named after the 1917 October Revolution. This package is currently on sale in the store. It's for 40% off, so I figured I'll give it a go and let you know what I think about it, so you can make a decision if it's worth for you getting this, if you like it, and we'll see how she plays. So starting out with the numbers, I've got no equipment on it or anything. It's just fresh out of the box. She's got 33,000 hit points, which is decent, and the protection isn't great. She's got 10% on Citadel, 10% on fire and flooding, and 12 on damage reduction and torpedo. So we compare her with the other two big battleships. I don't have the German Tier 5 around at the moment, but let's look at the Congo, the Japanese Tier 5, which was actually built by the British. She's got slightly better fire protection. And if we look at the American Texas, the premium Tier 5, she's got well better damage reduction and torpedo reduction, although this is after equipments and upgrades. So back here, let's see what else she can do. The max speed isn't terrible for Tier 5. We've got 23 knots. It's not Congo levels. If we look at the Congo, she can do almost 30 knots, but that's an exception. So you'll find the Fusar at Tier 6 is actually significantly slower again. So our Soviet premium battleship is about what the Tier 6 Japanese can do, and it's faster than what the Americans can do. The main thing about the battleship, obviously, the guns. She's got 305mm guns, and she's got 12 of them. 4 turrets with 3 guns each. There's something special about these, though. So if we're going to have a quick look at the actual turrets, you notice they're not super firing. So apparently the Russians at the time didn't believe in the power of super firing turrets, which means that in order to get the whole 12 guns to shoot, you actually have to give a large broadside. If you look at the Japanese ship by comparison, the guns are super firing, so you could fire the forward turrets at an angle or directly forward, and the same with the American ship. But with the Soviet one, you're going to have to fire sideways and give broadside. In terms of damage, not bad for 305mm. They're fully upgraded as they come by standard on premium ships. They've got a 22-second reload time, which isn't great. And 10% chance of setting fire, which isn't that great either. And the turret traverse speed is only 4 degrees. So standard at Tier 5 battleships, you'll find it's 5 degrees. Which means, well, we can't super fire, so we're going to have to turn. And we might have to turn in and out quite a bit. And having a turret traverse of 4 degrees means there's a fair chance that we get outmaneuvered relatively easily and get somebody come to the other side. Let's move on to the secondaries. These are 120mm guns, and they've got a 6-second reload time. We've got 10 of them, so I expect 5 guns left and 5 guns right. Not a great amount of damage because they're only 120mm. Not a great fire chance either, but it's fairly standard for battleships at this tier. Now, the anti-aircraft power is fairly decent again, which means that this historically is not actually the original World War I style battleship, but this is the one of the upgraded versions that's come later during the Second World War, which was refitted with a significant amount of anti-aircraft firepower. And honestly, nobody cares for surface detection on battleships because you can see them pretty much across the whole map anyway. So let's move on to equipment and see what we can do to improve this thing. I haven't played this yet, so let's just give it a quick look. Actually, before we do this, let's check out the camouflage, because this was a package that came with the historic camouflage. And this gives us 4% more hit points. It increases the firing range, which is good. It decreases the shell dispersion, which is also good, because this ship has the precise aiming skill. So we should expect some fairly decent precise fire coming out of this. It increases the torpedo damage reduction. So that's a good start. Let's put that in and then head over to see what kind of equipment we can put in. In the first slot, we have the usual set. We've got the traverse increase and we've got the reload boosters. Again, the main battery reload booster always comes with a penalty in terms of survivability. It probably means something around people storing ammunition in more unsafe places to get it quicker into the turret, and in return, they're easier to damage. And we've got the same thing for the secondaries. So we're certainly not going to do anything for the secondaries. I would usually go with 5% reload time, especially that she only has 22 seconds of reload in the first place. But the 4 degrees turret traverse worries me a little bit. So I'm going to go with the 20% main battery traverse, just to make sure we're not getting outmaneuvered that easily on this thing. And then my standard battleship build is you're going to get shot at and you're going to eat torpedoes. So I'm going with fire and flooding resistance and with the torpedo defense modification. I could give her a bit more speed, but it's the propulsion mod only gives us 5%. So we're probably talking about a knot more maybe. And the ship isn't that fast. It's not Congo speeds. So we're going to have to position strategically anyway. Plus the turrets are slow to turn. So I'd rather go with defenses here and increase our torpedo resistance because that wasn't that great to start with. All right, that's that done. Supply set, standard battleship things, reload time. I'm going to load that in. The preventative maintenance for some more hit points. And we're going to increase speed and traverse speed a little bit. Now, a quick word on the supplies. Normally at tier 5 with a non-premium ship, I wouldn't bother because supplies cost money. You're talking about 750 silver each, and if you auto resupply these, that'll cut into your earnings very, very quickly. And I would usually only use them on higher tiers, but this is a premium ship. It gets bonus silver anyway, and the camouflage gives an additional silver bonus. So we're going to go with this and give us a little boost and see how this goes. I put a fresh commander on her because it's a Soviet battleship. It's the only one in the game, so I didn't have any commanders around with the necessary skills for battleships. Tier 1 and 2 skills are pretty much no-brainers unless you're playing a carrier. You want the torpedo protection expert to further decrease the torpedo damage, and you want the torpedo alert to get the detection range up and see torpedoes coming up earlier. Then for the third skill, I usually go with the artillery maintenance because the battleship's got lots of hit points, so having 75% HP for quite a long time is a thing, and it gives a great boost to traverse speed and reduces the shell dispersion. So we've got these 3 skills coming in. I'm going to go into more details with in terms of skill on in a later point. For now, last thing we have to pick. This is fully upgraded because it's premium. Let's check out the elite bonus. So we can either go with modernization, give it a bit more hit points, increase the anti-air. Now we're playing tier 5, so this means we can see tier 5, tier 6 or tier 4 ships in battles most of the time. And we're not going to get too much opposition in terms of fighters, in terms of bombers in this case, because they are not that great at lower tiers. So I don't really care all that much about the anti-air. Torpedo damage reduction sounds great. And the other option would be main battery reload time and more traverse speed. So this isn't a clear pick to me, which means I'm going to leave it first because it costs gold to reset these things. And let's give her a try and see how she plays. And then we can see afterwards how this goes. All right, we're playing on the North American server. The new 1.9 loading screen is still a bit confusing. We've got 2 battleships, 2 destroyers, 2 cruisers, and a carrier. So very good mix-up, nicely balanced battle. Let's see how this goes. We are top tier, I believe. Yes, we've got a couple of tier 4s around here. So, and we're playing Golden Channel, which means someone's got to capture the center. So we're probably going to take the left flank and just making sure that nothing gets through there. Say hello to everybody, and then we've got high explosive loaded by default. These are 300mm shells. These would be good against the destroyers, but I suspect we're going to spot the cruisers first. So I'm going to switch over to armor piercing and head out not too far because I don't want to get detached, and I'm swinging the turrets around to point at the center of the map because that's where the action is going to be. It's always important in a battleship to get your turrets pointed, in any ship really, to get your turrets pointed at the right place in the big opening sequence of the battle, and so you get the full amount of firepower out. There comes some enemy fighters, some enemy bombers, but they're not targeting us, and that seems to be all for now. Enemy destroyers are in the cap circle, and it looks like our team is somewhat disinclined to go in there and push forward.
Capture the target area. No problem.
So it looks like we're going to have to do this. We don't want to rush ahead too much. We've got a Karlsruhe next to us, so we're going to slow down and see if we can let him pass and give him fire support. There's an Omaha. He's in the turn, so let's wait for that to go through. Precise aiming out and give him a full salvo of the good news. Yep, that was nice. That was 2 citadel hits and a good amount of armor piercing damage. So let's slow further down because we don't want to go too far ahead. So we got enemy battleships rushing in. Torpedoes, not seeing any. Let's see if that Omaha is still in the turn. He is. Let's give him another salvo. And then head forwards and see if we can... Oh, there's the Minikaze. Let's see if we can do something about this New York over here, because we've just lost our cruiser support. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to sink the Omaha with the second salvo. So there's a Nicholas. And we'll get some fire onto this New York. He just ate a whole lot of torpedoes. We got more citadel penetrations at close range. I am really liking those guns. Gotta watch out with the Minikaze up there. But I want to get the battleship down first before I switch over to high X. Slow down a bit. There he goes. Okay, primaries over to high explosive. Full speed ahead. There's the Minikaze. He's actually going for the destroyer. So let's give him some secondary support. And he's torpedoing our destroyer. There's a couple more torpedoes coming in. I'm gonna eat those if they don't die before I get here. But I've almost got the guns reloaded. And let's give him a full broadside. Yeah, that hurt. And go into a full turn. Because we do not want to get torpedoed by this guy if we can avoid it. Full speed on. Come on. Get in another turn. He's going around to flank, but I'm gonna have to dodge torpedoes. Oh, he knows what he's doing. Okay, let's get all the torpedoes in, then control the flooding. Okay, other side secondaries out. Look like he's beached himself. Unfortunately, our main batteries are pointing the wrong direction, so we only get 1, 2 to fire. And he disappeared behind the island. So I'm gonna switch over to armor piercing and see if I can get out of here before the Minikaze comes around again. See if I can deal with this Omaha. Because we are 1 ship down and we need to sink something. I can play hide and seek with him for the rest of the day behind these rocks. But that Omaha needs to die. before he does something stupid like set me on fire. I'll just get the guns pointed in that way. Turn out a bit. Come on, give me a couple of citadels. That would be lovely.
Torpedoes!
Okay, these are the Omaha's torpedoes. They didn't reach us. We just have to... More torpedoes? Oh, these are the Minakasa's torpedoes. Okay. Let's turn in to try to avoid these while keeping up the fire on the Omaha.
Our team captured the area.
Okay. That Omaha is mine. Come on, you. So if you're in a situation like this in an Omaha, use high explosive. There's the Minakasi. So we're going to switch the main batteries over to high-X and see if we can get some secondary fire onto him. And go into a full turn. Let's see if we can dodge his next torpedo salvo. There are some torpedoes coming in. Oh, he spotted the turn. Can I get the shots out? That's fine. Yeah, we're flooding, but the game is almost over. And I think he gets away with it. So last salvo his way, but he lives to fight another day. And we lost this one, which is unfortunate. I wasn't focusing on cap control because I was just way too busy battling a cruiser, a battleship, and a destroyer. We did make the battle star though, and we did 50,000 damage, which I think is a good amount for a tier 5 battleship. I really liked the amount of citadels. We've done 7 citadels with this thing. So these armor-piercing shells, even though they're just 305mm at close range, these things are devastating. We were able to penetrate the citadel of an American battleship easily. We got 2 ships down. We got a little bit of damage done with the secondaries. We did manage to set some fire on the Minakazi. And overall, I would say this is not a bad result. So actually going to give a bit of a compliment to this Minakazi player, because he did a good job predicting turns and chasing me and basically making my life hard and keeping me out of the cap circle, which is where this kind of battle really gets decided. If you're playing on this map, you need to control the cap. Getting all the enemy ships sunk isn't always guaranteed. So well done to him and his team. And in the end, I decided to go with the elite gun operator just to get a bit more reload time and traverse speed out of this. And if we look at the final stats we have, the other elite option is also good. It really depends on your playstyle, I guess. We've got 34,000 health, which is more than the Texas, a bit less than the Congo. We've got our torpedo reduction up to 14%, which is okay. The Texas is exceptional in that regard, but in return, we are a bit faster than the Texas, and we have got more guns. Even though they're just 305mm, the difference isn't that great. We've seen how punchy they are. We got the reload time down to 21 seconds. And yeah, the secondaries aren't great on this ship, especially that you really need to be broadside to fire them. But we were able to set some fires, so it's not terrible. And the anti-air is okay. It's not as good as the Texas. But again, in these lower tiers, I find that carriers usually don't really play that much of a role unless they really focus you down. It's more an issue of getting set on fire, getting leaks from torpedoes. So my impression so far, I like this ship. I like the ship a lot. I do like the Fuso at tier 6 with her 12 guns, and I do like the ship with her 12 guns. She's got good precision. I was able to get a stupid amount of citadels, especially at close range, obviously, but also against something like American battleships who have relatively well-protected citadels. And yeah, I do like this ship. she looks like a good premium ship to me. The lack of super firing turrets isn't as much of an issue as I initially thought, because the angle is good that you can get the front, so the A turret and the C turret firing respectively, and that's decent. I really like her. I'm gonna totally keep her and keep playing with her a bit more. I definitely like her better than the Texas, just because of the amount of firepower that she can dish out. And yeah, that's it for me for today. I hope I'll see you again soon, and have a great day.